There is nothing more frustrating than topping your fairway wood, especially when you've boomed a drive straight down the middle on a par 5, or if you're trying to play safe on a par 4 and get it down the middle of the fairway. Hi everyone, my name is James and welcome to Get Good at Golf. On this channel we aim to help you get good at golf just one day at a time. So this is something which, to be honest, always gets loads and loads and loads of YouTube views. I've had loads of views, Rick's had loads of views, Ali Taylor's had loads of views, and the reason for that is because there's nothing more infuriating than hitting this shot when you're in prime position to attack or defend a golf hole. That can happen. I'm trying to top one there, but I've actually just missed it over the top of it. That is the most frustrating thing in the world. It's not even picked it up here on our TrackMan range. I actually hit it, the strike location was there. This is something that I see a lot in lessons as well. This isn't something that just a few golfers struggle with, it's something that so many golfers could improve. And one of the big things that you need to do here is make sure that first of all the ball position's correct, which Chris is going to talk us through a little bit later on, but generally I like to play this in a similar position to my driver, maybe a little bit further back. And the next thing is don't think too much about getting the ball up in the air. I know that probably feels like a double negative. It probably feels like, well, you're telling me to not think about getting the ball up in the air, and James has just hit a shot there, which isn't optimum. But if you think about getting the ball up in the air, your first thing to think about is leaning back. You see Chris's move there on the camera because his club face is pointing straight at him. This is another thing that you can get wrong if you do this kind of thing, where you lean back and try and help the ball up in the air. The club face is going to be wide open. You're going to have a really shallow angle of attack. Although you'll see here on the range mat, you're probably just going to duff it, and if you don't duff it, you catch the top of the ball like that. I find it really difficult to do because for me it's ingrained that I need to rotate forwards, get my weight onto my left side, get that weight moving through my left heel, and you'll see that then gets my weight through my left knee, through my left heel, through my left hip and down into the ground. So if you want to hit really good fairway shots, you need to make sure that first of all you take the club nice and low to the ground, getting yourself a nice wide takeaway, nice wide lever here. From there load up to the top of the backswing, and you'll feel the weight in that right side, you'll feel it in that trail side. From there you push off and turn your body into your lead side, hips rotated, knees a little bit straighter, and the weight is in my left heel, and from there that's going to allow me to strike a fairway wood a lot better, a lovely big high draw, and you're not going to top the ball ever again with a fairway or a hybrid, because I know that can be an annoyance as well.
Okay guys, so when we're talking ball position, like James said, a lot of people don't know where to put this. Somebody's told them they need to hit down onto the golf ball with a fairway wood, which is what you do. It's going to be shallower than an iron, but we still don't want that in the centre. If we're in the centre, that club's still working on its way down, and we start to see that the face is still open, and people push it out to the right. If they have an open face, they're going to slice it 40, 50 yards right. Then if we get it too far forwards, just like your driver, we're then going to be coming past our low point. We're actually going to be hitting up, and that could also encourage you to top that. If you have any kind of tilt back, we're past the low point, it's going to hit the toe of the club, it's going to hit the bottom. Again, that could go left, could go right, depending on how you time that. And we see a lot of people then try and adjust, they try and make different kind of motions, they try and square it up, they try and hold it off.
Scythe it, some would say.
Scythe it, as James would say. So, ball position, ideally guys, inside, we want to be around about a ball inside the left heel, so we're going to be a little bit further back than a driver, but we're still going to be hitting down there because, like James mentioned, we're trying to make sure that we still transfer that weight, and I'm getting through into this kind of position all over the left hand side. Even with a fairway wood, I want to be feeling in my finish position. I could lift that right leg because it's not really doing a lot. Again, when you're on the range and when you're on mats, we can get away with it. So like James said there, I could hit the ground before and still get a reasonable strike. You see, I've not really moved there. It's gone okay. If we get on the golf course, it's a lot wetter out there, or even if it's firm with the frost that we've currently got, we're going to miss-hit that. It's going to drop kick the ball, you might top it, you might catch it heavy depending on the conditions. So especially when you're on a mat guys, we need to make sure that we're getting through to that finish position. We've checked the ball positions just inside our heel, but then really what I want you to focus on is in your finish, we're in this position here. Hips and chest are pointing towards the target. We're in this kind of position, and again I want you to feel like, yeah, I can lift that right foot, I know then I've transferred my weight. If I've transferred my weight, I'm going to be able to better work out what went wrong. What did we do wrong there? If the ball's gone to the right, if the ball's gone to the left, we can start to figure that out. If my ball position gets a little bit back and I get to my finish, right, that's gone way right. Hopefully it stays in the driving range so I don't get told off. I'm pointing to my target, but because that ball position was back, you can see
It didn't.
It didn't. Because it's a little bit back and I've left the club face open, that's now a big slide. So I'm now out of bounds. I'm not good. I've got through to my finish. I've transferred my weight like James has said, but I've not been able to do that. Same now if I move that forwards, we'll start to see potentially. That was a lucky one there. I've heeled that one and you'll see on there, even though it was forwards, I've slid, I've held it open because I knew it was going to go left. And that's up the right hand side. You would probably say, well, I'd take that, but that's not going to consistently happen because the next one might quickly rock it to the left. So transfer your weight, start to then work out why the ball is doing what it is. You can figure that out with the feel on the face. Has it hit the heel? Has it hit the toe? And then you can also work out if your ball position is incorrect. When you're on the driving range, guys, get an alignment stick down, get a club, a spare club, pop that down, and always be working on that ball position because like James said, we want to be able to take that from here onto the golf course. If I stand here and I hit 23 woods with the correct ball position, I'm more than likely going to go into the golf course and repeat that. If I stand here, my ball position changes every time.
Ooh, a little samba move.
A little bit of a fandango. You're going to do exactly the same on the golf course. Your ball position is going to vary, you're not going to strike it well, and you're not going to give yourself the correct feedback. So,
what would you find, Chris, when the ball position is just central? Because so many people just think, right, middle of the stance, what do you find with that? Because some people would say, well, that's neutral, but then I would disagree with that. And so many people say, well, how can I go wrong if the ball's in the middle of the stance?
Yes, if the ball's in the middle of the stance, then the club obviously is a little bit behind, so it's still on its way down. So even if it's not in front of centre, that club is still working down, so we're more than likely going to block that straight right. So the path is a little bit out to the right, the face hopefully matches that, and it'll go straight right. If you then open, like I said, we're going to hit that shot that I hit out of bounds, but what we see a lot then from a middle ball position is people do exactly that. They fall back, they try and square it up because they've hit a couple of blocks.
That one was close as well.
And oh, I've nearly got the ball machine. And it quickly runs low, it goes left, and you've ruined a chance of you might have hit a good drive down there. You think, oh, I can get to the green if I just give this a little bit more. Ball position middle so it doesn't go too high. And then we fall back, close it down, and we're still hitting a 5-6 iron in which we're not going to be consistent with.
It also just kills the body rotation and the chance of any distance as well, doesn't it?
Exactly, it stops the rotation, so from a centre ball position, it stops rotation because all we see is tilting. This left shoulder works up instead of working around, and we can never get into the position that we've just spoke about. So guys, if you're struggling with your fairway woods and you want to stop topping them, those are a quick few tips you can practice on the driving range. Make sure you do it on here, and then you're able to take it to the golf course. We'll see you again tomorrow.